Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short, hopefully short training and takeaway video. I've got Mark Zalewski on the line here with me, and Mark is a good friend of mine. He and I go way back. We both have worked at Infusionsoft, but not at the same time, and so we've kind of crossed paths just being in the industry. And he's someone I've come to like and respect. He knows Infusionsoft really well. He's worked with some really big names as well that you would definitely recognize. But I've asked him to come and just share with me some strategies, best practices on email marketing, and specifically around like email segmentation. And that's what I was hoping we could get out of today. So anyway, Mark, thanks for making some time. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so as Brett mentioned, I was working at Infusionsoft until pretty recently. I managed the trusted advisor team over there, so worked with some of Infusionsoft's larger clients, which was a ton of fun. It basically just involved me running into a never-ending series of very complicated requests and me trying to figure out how to solve them inside of Infusionsoft, which is kind of why we ended up chatting here today. So a little bit segmentation and a little bit of just technical Infusionsoft build out and I guess best practices as I see them. So Brett had asked me to write a short piece on segmentation for a blog post that he put out pretty recently, and I couldn't keep it short. I tried, so we figured we'd do a little follow-up here and just chat through it. So basically, what I wanted to just show you guys was something that I've started doing in my Infusionsoft campaigns that I call building just the brain. So it's kind of just called the brain campaign in my mind. So I don't know what to make of that, but at any rate,
I like that.
The idea is that essentially, if you're trying to solve for a few more complex issues inside of Infusionsoft, what I've found is that it's helpful to separate your campaigns into essentially two areas. So there's the brain that sits on top, and essentially what that is it's just a bunch of tagging that's happening to help control or route people through a campaign. And then there's the actual content of the campaign below that. And there's really two ways that I have applied this, and I think might be helpful to just run through both of these different scenarios, if that sounds good to you, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I love the concept already. So let's dive in. And by the way,
Yeah.
I think maybe you'll talk about this, but this is for I think businesses that you've helped with, but also your own business. Like you've run this using your own money, your own ad spending, all that stuff. So
Yep.
it's just like some theory, right? This is like stuff that you've actually done and implemented, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one that we'll run through is actually something that I use in my business, and that is for segmentation. So this business is a drop shipping company that sells pool products. So, pretty classic setup. Someone orders a pool pump from us. I don't hold any stock on hand. I order it from the distributor and ship it to that end user. And where the segmentation piece comes in handy is, as you can imagine, it makes a lot of sense to communicate with people based on how they've interacted with your company in the past. So if someone is a new customer of mine, I want to treat them differently than if they've interacted with me 3 or 4 or 5 times, right? So that's where the segmentation piece comes in handy. That is critically important for email marketing, whether you're using Infusionsoft or any other platform. I would really encourage you to think about the different types of people that are interacting with your business and treat them accordingly, right? So that's something that Infusionsoft makes very easy to do. And in this particular brain campaign, it's actually split into 2 separate campaigns. So the first campaign we're going to look at is just tag management after order. And this is that brain piece that sits on top. So essentially, all I'm trying to do here is determine how many times someone has done business with my company. So what we have here is a shopping cart. Anytime they purchase anything, they're coming into this campaign. And then I am removing the new lead tag. So someone is no longer a lead if they've made a purchase, obviously. And then I'm applying a couple tags here. So the first one is Profile Wild West. So I do run a few different businesses through this app. So I just want to attribute these folks to Wild West. And then I'm applying my newsletter tag. Next, we have the new customer tag. So if they have no other tags on their contact record, then they're just going to flow right into this top sequence here. And essentially what's happening in here is I'm applying a tag for a Wild West customer so that I just know blanket, this person has at some point done business with us. And then also a new customer tag. So this is the first time that they have interacted with us, right? And then after that, because, and this is where the infinite loop concept of Infusionsoft comes in, if someone were to make another purchase, if they are still inside of this sequence, they will not come back and restart the campaign. At least that's how it has traditionally been handled. I don't know, Brett, do you know if they've updated that rule since that has been the case?
I have no idea. No, I don't know.
Well, at any rate, to be safe, just keep the infinite loop concept going. So essentially this end goal is just looking for the new customer tag here as well. So as soon as they get that new customer tag applied here, boom, they're coming right out of the campaign so that next time they purchase, they come back through. So the next time they purchase, the only thing that's different is this decision diamond says, if someone has a new customer tag on their record, then don't send them down in through this route, this new customer route, send them to the repeat 2 orders portion of the campaign. So here, just giving a little timing, I am removing the new customer tag. So they're no longer a new customer. They've interacted with me more than once. And then I'm applying a 2 orders tag here. So now I can segment between a new customer and someone that has come back at least twice. And then again, this is just pulling them out, the 2 orders. So I won't get in any further into this portion of it. I'm just cycling people through. So I go from 1 purchase, new customer, all the way through 4 orders, and then I just consider someone a quote family at that point because they've done business with us so many times. Hopefully they're bypassing Google entirely and just coming straight to the site. So this is the brain piece of it. Brett, any questions that jump out at you on this component of it?
No, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I love it because I can see where it's going. I can see now why you call it the brain, because it's basically thinking, making all the decisions. Yep. And then I'm assuming the next one doesn't make as many or maybe no decisions. It just delivers whatever needs to be delivered.
That's exactly right.
I like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you certainly can, by the way, do I could be delivering the content inside of each of these pieces, but I've found that for the sake of me trying to work through how to set up campaigns, it just makes it easier and cleaner to just separate those pieces and keep them as 2 separate standalone items.
Yeah. I think the piece we haven't even looked at, but is the kind of the whole brain, quote unquote, behind all of this is really that decision diamond. And so if someone's looking to implement something like this, it's just a clever use of a decision diamond, which is just saying, hey, have they got 1 order? Then we'll move them to 2, then we'll move them to 3, so on and so forth, which is really just a super simple concept, but you don't really think to do that using Infusionsoft all the time. So I just really like what you've done with that. Yeah.
And if someone wants to just pause here and take a look at the way that I've set this up, it's just for a new customer, if the tags do not contain a Wild West customer, then that means that they need to come into the new customer tag. Now for the repeat, the 2 orders, if their tags do contain new customer, then that means that they must have just gone through this segment. So we just need to drop them down into the second one.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, let's keep going. I think this is awesome. I'm excited to hear kind of what the strategy behind the different segments are and kind of how you message the different.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at the actual content delivery here. So this is kind of what we've got in this campaign is this is actually a separate piece up here, but these are all of the different lead magnets that I have on the site. So they're mostly just pop-ups for discounts, things like that. This is an e-commerce business, so it's pretty cut and dry. I could do content around, you know, the 5 things you need to think about when you're opening your pool for the season and things like that. And I would encourage you to do lead magnets like that. I haven't gotten to it. I should, but anyways, that's a different story.
Yeah, different conversation.
Yep. So down here, there's basically 2 states. It's either shipped or refunded. Sometimes we can't fulfill an order. So that's a different segment. If Brett comes to my website and makes a purchase and I can't fulfill on that purchase, then I want to talk to him specifically about that state as well. There's a little bit of language in there around, hey, sorry we couldn't help you out this time. Let us know what we can do in the future, or ask us some questions about the situation you're trying to solve, etc. But essentially, so if that order gets shipped, then I'm pulling them out for a few different reasons that I'll talk about in a minute. But this decision diamond is just saying, hey, which segment did they fall into? Is it the new customer, the welcome back, the 3rd time, or the 4th order? So what I've done here is, in each of these emails, I created a fake personality. His name is Carl. He is my director of customer service, and Carl delivers all of these emails for the business. So I'm waiting 10 days. This is just to give that order time to actually make it to the end customer. And then I'm just saying thanks. So a new customer, this is an opportunity to welcome them into the business and let them know how we like to do things. So hope you're well, wanted to reach out and thank you for shopping with Wild West. We're a small business dedicated to bringing you the best customer service. So this is kind of just the language I'm trying to set the tone is, hey, we really care about each customer that comes in. Let us know if there's something that we can do to help. So I've got a coupon code in here that's trying to bring them back to do business with us in the past. And each of these tracks is dedicated towards cycling them back to becoming a repeat customer. So essentially, just provide a coupon code there. And also additionally, the other thing to note about this is each of these coupon codes are specific to the track, so that I can just track performance of how everything is working out.
Smart, super smart. I imagine you also get some replies back for Carl to respond to as well.
People respond to Carl all the time. And actually, a little bit of strategy on that. I do have a full-time customer service rep that works on Wild West and actually does fulfill all of the orders and work with people and do that. Her name is Ria. The reason these emails don't come from Ria is I don't want Ria to be in a situation where she feels like she needs to respond and keep the conversation going. Since these are automated, if they're coming from Carl and Ria wants to respond to one of those messages, all she has to do is say, hey, Carl passed this along and asked me to reach out. And so that provides a little bit of separation from the email automation and Ria's day-to-day activities. So you don't run into a situation where an automated email would be coming out and Brett says, hey, I emailed with you, Ria, 4 or 5 times about this order. Why does this welcome back email sound like we've never met before? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's super smart. It's Carl is basically a marketing version of Siri, right? Like an assistant that like helps you do things and has a personality and all that. I love it. I think it's perfect.
Totally. So the only other thing that I'll point out here, and then we can kind of move on to the second scenario, is in this second email series, if someone has come back, the next strategy that I've employed here is I actually add $5 in credit to their account on Bigcommerce. And so this is a different way of applying a coupon, but the $5 feels more like I just handed you a $5 bill, which I think is pretty impactful in just the e-commerce space. It feels different than a discount and in a lot of ways more valuable than a discount. So just when you're talking to these different segments, and this is going to be different for every business, just think about the different ways that you can interact with folks to, to keep things fresh and interesting and not overly repetitive, but still accomplishes the goal of getting them to do repeat business with you.
Yeah, so good. This is really, really good.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I'll mention is if someone makes it down here, I pull them out of automated emails entirely, right? So that's where the skip if comes into play, and I call these my big fish. So if someone has ordered with me 4 times, that person is of significant value to our business, so I don't want them to experience automation anymore. And instead, I have internal automation down here where they come in, and instead of emailing them automatically, this emails me and says, hey, one of your 4 orders customers has gone about a little bit over a month without hearing from you. Just shoot them an email. Takes me 3 minutes to do, and I can say, hey, Brett, how's it going? How's your hot tub running? Can I help you with anything? Happy holidays, you know? So that keeps it even more personal when you take it to that level.
Yeah, that's amazing. By the way, I do something somewhat similar there as well, but I have basically have Zapier create a draft in my Gmail that's it's got their first name already in a subject line, so it makes it, it's still personal, and I still add a couple of lines to it, but there's still kind of like that
Totally.
piece.
Yeah, you're just making it a little bit easier for yourself to add that personalized touch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to over automate stuff, and that's what I love, that you realize that, and especially if they're in this case a big fish or a high value client, they're going to be treated a little bit differently, and sometimes automation isn't always the answer.
Totally.
Well, I take that back. You're using automation still, but just in a smarter way.
Yes, but you're absolutely correct that automation can become a hindrance at some point to the way that you're interacting with your clients, for sure.
Yeah.
So
this is cool.
Yeah, let's hop into the second situation here real quick if we've got some more time, and I'll just walk you guys through this one as well. So this is called the Services Awareness Campaign. So this is where the brain component becomes even more important, and I'll set the stage for you a little bit. So I built this for a client who is, she's an accountant, but the way that I would explain it is that's a gross oversimplification of what she can do. She's a self-styled outsourced CFO, in that she can help you make a ton of financial decisions for your business. So she does a lot of different things, and here are the different services that she offers. So she will just do bookkeeping. There's a style of accounting called Profit First that she teaches. There's payroll, there's marketing, and then there's coaching. So when someone comes into her business, she wants them to be aware that she doesn't just do accounting, right? So she wants people to see language about all 5 of the different services that she provides. But if you already came in because you started doing payroll with her, then it makes no sense for you to be added into this track, right? So in essence, if you started with payroll, you would need to get bookkeeping, profit first, skip payroll, go to marketing, and then go to coaching, right? So I was just scratching my head trying to figure out how to skip a particular service when we were delivering this, and that kind of just made the brain campaign portion of this make a lot of sense. So it's essentially just saying, okay, someone has become a client. So the first time they become a client, we drop them into this campaign. This is removing some of those tags. And then I'm just asking one question at a time. Have they received the promotional content around bookkeeping, or are they a bookkeeping client? If the answer to either of those questions is yes, they skip it and move right on to the next one for Profit First, and I ask the same questions there. If the answer here is no, they are not either a client or they have not received this material yet, then they come down here, and there's a tag here that is just saying, hey, start that bookkeeping conversation. So they come down into this track, and there's a bunch of marketing material here. So I moved her campaign into my app, by the way. That's why some of this stuff isn't live in my app. But I just wanted to be able to talk through the strategy here. So that's essentially what's happening is This portion of the campaign is simply determining what material, what content here is going to be delivered at what time, and gives us an easy way to skip over one section if it's not relevant. So if you provide a lot of different business services within your business, this might be a good way to set that up in an intelligent manner so you can really control the messaging and not message someone about a service that they might already be aware of.
This, man, you got like my wheels turning here. There's so many applications for this. I could just see, basically, if you have something like this, anyone who comes into your database could literally go through this and still be served a relevant experience. I mean, as long as you're updating the record, letting Infusionsoft know, hey, they've purchased this product or this product, like any person in your database literally could go through something like this if you've built it properly, and they'd just be getting taken care of, and they're getting the relevant information that they need. So really, really good. Awesome. And great use of like looping and tags and decision diamonds, all that stuff.
Yeah. And again, I want to make the point that you don't have to have these separate, right? If the answer to this question was no, I could deliver the content here and then just go back to the decision diamond and keep delivering content or skipping as appropriate. And that will work just fine if this is all you're trying to accomplish, right? But what I've started doing now is when I do a build out for an Infusionsoft instance, I'll just have one campaign that's literally titled the Brain Campaign, and I'm handling all tagging across all areas of the business inside of that campaign so that the other campaigns are just about content delivery. And that, by the way, allows me to say, hey, anyone who's going to do any of the build outs of any of these campaigns, just don't touch that campaign. Let me handle that. And you can go in and add content and do that kind of stuff inside the other campaigns.
Nice. Yeah, that's really, really smart. This is awesome. I am super stoked about some of the things that I am learning here.
Good.
And I think there are a ton of applications for even my business. I'm thinking about clients as well, but also mine, of how I could go about utilizing something like this.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that was a little longer than we'd anticipated, but hopefully that was valuable for everyone. And you can think about how segmentation is applicable in your business, because I have yet to see one where it is a hindrance and not a help in your marketing efforts. So
I agree 100%. Yeah, I do something on the front end. So when a lead comes in, they opt in. I've got like this marketing automation playbook. Somebody can opt in. I think most people they just want name and email address. And especially like the big time marketers, I think they'll just ask for like an email address because they just want to pound them, right? They just want to get them in the list, and then they just pound them later. And I think there's something to be said about developing a relationship and having a more long-term mindset. And I think if you have that, then doing things with segmentation will, just be a better experience for everyone in the long run. And so I'll ask name, email, and then I'll have some specific question about basically one of their pain points. And that allows me to then follow up based on those pain points and try to sell them on those specifically rather than some generic track that everyone just goes through. So anyway, absolutely. I really like how you've done this. I think we'll wrap it up. I appreciate, like I said, I really, really appreciate it. I know I kind of liken it to like, getting naked in front of people when you like unveil your campaigns, because it's like, these are kind of mine and they're a little personal. Like I've built them and now I'm just like showing it to everyone. So I know it can be a little daunting, but really appreciate you doing that. And I know, like I said, I got a ton of value out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not a problem. And I know there's probably several Infusionsoft experts that will watch this and cringe at the way that I've built this and they could be improved. But that's kind of the beauty of Infusionsoft, right? Is take this stuff, make it your own, improve upon it, and hopefully it helps you out.
Yeah, absolutely.